My name is Jeffrey. I am the owner of Seasons Vintage. At Seasons Vintage at Instagram, that's it. I collect band tees, so I'm looking for certain band tees, but all of these have their charm to it. That's a nice one. So there are a lot of different things that determine the price and the worth of a shirt. So of course there's gonna be tons of like shirts from the 90s and whatever, but the more sought after ones are the ones that have like nostalgia attached to it. So like, you know, if you used to live in the 90s, you used to listen to like Guns N' Roses or Nirvana, or like you like watch the Power Rangers or something, right? Personally, when I'm like looking for shirts, there's a lot of different things to look for. So if there's a tag or not, this one is cut. People cut the tag because it scratches their neck or whatever. Or, you know, there's a date, so you can't really read it, but I believe it's 1994. You also like have to look at the stitching. This is double stitch, but a lot of the like 90s, 80s, 70s shirts, they're single stitch. So this one, like, there's no date or anything, but you can tell that it is like a 90s shirt just because it is single stitch. So I got this Guns N' Roses shirt. There's a date here. It's dated 1991. We know it's from like 1991. That adds to the value of it. The tag on the shirt. So we have this silver Brockham tag, and it says here that it's made in USA. Only until now we see a lot of like made in China, but before we still had a lot of shirts made and assembled like in the US or like Mexico, right? You know, 1991, 1992 tour. And yeah, I'd say roughly this shirt is worth about, I'd say like $250 this shirt is worth. So just to go over it, like the graphic, the overall condition, the tag that's on it, the stitching, if there's a date, those are all factors that contribute to like what makes a good and like sought after shirt. This is definitely something that'll be very expensive in the future, a Drake tour shirt. What is it, from 2013? Who knows, in like 10 years from now this will be like $200 or something. Right now it's $50. The ones back here are like more pricey. Like this Pink Floyd one, I'd say it's worth about like 400 Canadian. So this is a 1994 Pink Floyd The Division Bell tour shirt. You've probably seen your favorite rapper wear this, like Travis Scott wore this shirt. Even because of that, like that adds value to it. So 1994 North American tour has a lot of cities on there. Toronto's on there. It's on a good tag and it's a good size. It's on a Brockham tag. Made in USA, size large. It's single stitch, and it does have the copyright at the bottom. All contributes to a great tee. Even though there's like this small like pinhole, it doesn't really matter. In the vintage community, there's a lot more leeway to have rips and stains and whatever, because it adds character to the piece. This one's worth like 450 CAD. This is my partial collection of band tees. This over the span of like 10 months maybe. Mostly I collect like 90s, early 2000s. My oldest one is probably this one. I think this is a 1989 nice Guns N' Roses piece. My favorite one, definitely right now, this Jaid.z one. Has a great back hit of all the members. Like that sliver is probably worth like maybe $1,000. I got this one in my dad's closet, which is sort of nuts that this guy just has an $1,000 t-shirt chilling in his closet. There's this Nirvana heart-shaped box shirt, and it goes for maybe like $5,000. If I were to ever find that, I think I'd stop vintage. Yeah, like that is definitely a grail piece to a lot of like collectors. Be a great addition to my collection. Yeah. All of the bands that I collect, they're all bands that I listen to, and they mean a lot to me because I get a lot of my musical influence from my dad. So a lot of the bands that you can see here, I like grew up listening to all these, so these shirts are really important to me. Yeah, so I think like this generation specifically, just because there's always talks about, like, you know, carbon emissions and climate change and harm to the environment. A lot of people have started looking into like thrifting their clothes, and there's a lot more emphasis on reduce, reuse, recycle. There's a lot more people in the thrift store these days, which is great. Like, we love to see it because so much clothes go into landfills, which is so bad. Yeah. Power to the people. I have the women's right shirt. I have that one. I have the